Next on Worcester News Tonight, a new developer's plan for the old Worcester Courthouse. A look at what the building will have to offer. Plus, buzzing about pesticides. Local beekeepers supporting legislation to limit harmful chemicals. Details are next. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Catherine Andrioli. City officials announcing plans for a $53 million project revitalizing the old Worcester Courthouse. The long vacant property will be developed into apartments by Boston firm Trinity Financial. It's one of several developments adding more residential space to Worcester. Nearby business owners say they are pleased to have more apartments breaking ground in the city. Restaurant owner Sean Hill says the project will add more foot traffic and business to downtown Worcester, something restaurant owners like him say is very important for growth.
That's fantastic. Yeah, the more the merrier. You know, developing foot traffic, I know with that development and then with the Main Street improvements that are going to be taking place later on this year, I think that's tremendous in rebuilding downtown. I think more restaurants would bring more people this way. Not just mine, all of the other local businesses here downtown, and I think it would also help create more business.
And the city is in the midst of what they are calling a renaissance, but says finding ways to refurbish the abandoned building has been a struggle. Ralston Flaherty has a look at what the plans for the building involve.
A new chapter is about to begin at the former Worcester County Courthouse.
It's such an integral piece of not just Lincoln Square, but Main Street. You know, it's always been a place to bring people together.
The city of Worcester announced Monday Trinity Financial bought the courthouse for $1.3 million.
We looked at what Trinity offered to do with the property, we looked at their track record, and we felt it was a good match for us.
The company says they will spend about $53 million to turn the property into about 125 residential units and retail space. The Boston-based developer says they wanted to get involved because of what they were seeing happening in the city.
We saw all the activity, all the investment that the city is making in revitalizing their downtown, and thought that it would be good to be a part of that.
The former courthouse, listed on the National Register of Historic Places, was built in 1843. The city bought the property for $1 in 2014. In 2015, the city council voted to sell the property to Brady Sullivan Properties, but they pulled out.
It happens. It's the nature of the beast, right? So that's okay, because another door was open, another opportunity was opened.
Construction will create 150 local jobs, which the city says was a critical part of the deal.
You want to put your own people to work.
Anytime you can keep local people working, that's good for our economy overall, because they're spending money back in the economy.
Rosalind Flaherty, Worcester News Tonight.
Also coming to the city are flights to Cape Cod. The new shuttle service will add round-trip flights from the Worcester Regional Airport to Hyannis Barnstable. The new Retrix Aviation Airlink to Cape Cod will debut on June 29th. The round-trip flights will run daily from Thursday to Monday. The flights will include 9 first-class passenger seats and Wi-Fi service. A ribbon-cutting ceremony will be held tomorrow morning at the Worcester Regional Airport. A warrant has been issued for the arrest of a Worcester woman who stabbed a fellow employee while working at Willys. Police say Lily Beth Melendez asked a 21-year-old female to speak with her in the bathroom at the restaurant. When the victim entered, Melendez began punching her and pulling her hair. The fight was broken up by other employees, but it didn't end there.
After they're separated, it seemed like it was over, but Lily Beth Melendez grabbed a knife and went after the victim with the knife, swinging it at her. She did strike her a couple times in the hand, and so the victim was stabbed in the hand. She was brought to the hospital and was treated for that.
Police say the dispute was over a mutual friend. Anyone with information on Melendez's location are asked to contact police. Local beekeepers are pushing for legislation to limit the use of pesticides they say are killing honeybees. The proposed legislation would prevent some consumers from buying neonic pesticides. The chemicals are commonly used to treat crops and other plants, but can seep into pollen and nectar. Kathy DeGraff has been beekeeping for several years and says the chemicals are harming bees and causing some populations to die. DeGraff says the legislation will protect bees from these chemicals and their ability to pollinate.
Honeybees will visit the plants that have been treated with them and will bring a little tiny bit of this chemical back to their hive. And it wouldn't kill the honeybee that visited that flower, but it would when the bees bring it back to their home, over time it will have an effect on the hive that the bees get disoriented and leave, and so the colony will die. The bill, I think, specifies that anybody who uses it is going to have a pesticide applicator's license. Now a lot of farmers actually do have this license already. Your average homeowner probably doesn't. And the reason that we want people to have the license is because we want them to understand exactly how the thing should be applied and in what quantities. The quantity is very important.
The bill would also require all plants treated with the chemicals to be labeled. The Massachusetts State Senate and House of Representatives have both passed their version of the recreational marijuana bill. It's now being looked over by committee of both senators and state reps for revisions before heading to the governor's desk. The House of Representatives bill would undo some aspects of the vote passed by voters in November. One major change would be the hike of marijuana taxes to a mandatory 28%. That's up from the maximum of 12% listed on the ballot question. State Representative Jim O'Day says the House version has a strong focus on safety and policy.
I know that some of the advocates for question 4 are a little bit disturbed with some of the tinkering that the House has done with the bill, but frankly, there was almost no sort of policy restrictions in that bill. And so we need to make sure that, not only those who are smoking, the adult use are safe, but everyone else is safe.
The state Senate's bill would keep current measures in place, but with proposed changes in the way both recreational and medical marijuana would be overseen by the state. Senator Michael Moore says the Senate version looks to give more authority into cities and towns.
We've added some language that now the city and town would look based on a vote of the city council or boards of selectmen, that they could determine whether or not they want to have recreational marijuana in their city or town.
Legislators have until June 30th to submit a final version of the bill to Governor Charlie Baker's desk, all for marijuana shops to open by July of 2018. Recreation Worcester is kicking off their counselors training Monday. The city is employing 100 youth as part of the summer program. The first day of camp is next week, but the extensive training starts today. Brittany Schaefer has the details.
Anna John is looking to give Recreation Worcester what the program gave her.
It's like a family and like a big brother and a sister. They play a role of a family to me.
Anna came to the United States as a refugee from Ghana. She says it was difficult for her adjusting to Worcester schools at first, and Recreation Worcester helped her make friends.
It helped me because I always had to go there after school, and I found different people who are from different backgrounds, and we're taught to know each other's brothers and sisters, and that no matter what, we should learn to respect them.
Recreation Worcester counselors kicked off their week of training Monday before the programs start next week. This year, the training is even more extensive.
The training, is extremely important. They're getting first aid training, health training, communication, sexual health, cultural competence.
They have the most important resource we have as a city in their hands, our young people. And so they need to take that responsibility seriously and make sure they do everything they can to make those young people have a great, safe, healthy, and enjoyable summer.
City manager at Augusta says 2,000 children are expected to participate in this free program.
10 sites, and every site is located within a mile of every house in Worcester. So kids can get there easily. It's from 9 in the morning till 5:30 at night. There's a free lunch and a free dinner as part of it. So there's physical activity, there's arts and crafts, there's homework help.
And during Monday's training kickoff, Anna sent the counselors off with important advice.
We should go to work not for the money, but we should go with our heart. We should learn to love the kids and give back to them what we were given to. They should make them know that we are their big brothers and sisters, and that we can be trusted whenever they want to talk to us.
Brittany Schaefer, Worcester.